Hi guys, this is Charlotte Rose and welcome back to my channel. If you're an oldie, thank you guys for sticking around. And if you're a newbie, it's beautiful over here. So let's get started with this video. In this video, I'll be doing a fall DIY for you roses. And I'll be trying out this crackle finish that I picked up at Joann's. It's my first time using it, so there was a lot of trials and tribulation with this, but I broke it down for you guys where it will be much easier for you guys to follow. So I'll be using that pumpkin from Dollar Tree, as you could see. I am also using this plaster of Paris. I picked this up from Home Depot. I use this for a multitude of different projects, so I only have a small portion left. I also have acrylic white paint. I will also be using orange acrylic paint, ribbons from Dollar Tree and Michael's, and anything else I'll just list in the description below. And also guys, I want to let you know, for the first half of this video, it's basically little tips and tricks that I learned along the way while doing this project. So I mixed 2 parts paint to 1 part of my plaster of Paris. You could put more plaster of Paris if you choose to. It will only give you a thicker texture. I prefer a thinner texture. It applies better to me. So get that nice and mixed in so all your plaster of Paris is incorporated. Then you want to apply a thin layer to your pumpkin, and this is where my tips kick in. I started out with my orange and I realized I am still seeing the farm fresh underneath. So I switched to another pumpkin because I'm making 3 of these. I switched to another pumpkin and I did my white first, then I applied my orange, and you could see the difference here, guys. Big difference. Okay? Look at how it looks. Much better when you add your white paint first, then apply your orange. And this orange is a base color for the crackle finish. You could use any color you want for your base color. And in this project, guys, your dryer is your best friend. It makes the process goes much faster. And you want to make sure your chalk paint mix that you made is completely dry before you apply your crackle finish. That is imperative, okay? So you want to add a thin layer of your crackle finish and let that dry. Also, you could use your dryer to dry this. It does work. I experimented with that. Or you could just let it sit for the factory manufacturer time, which they said to let it dry for 24 hours. I did not have that time to work with. And this is what it's looking like. You can see all the crackle little finish in it. And you could leave it like that, or you could take it a step further. For me, I wanted a white background. And I use a tinting color to get that little tint in my pumpkin to show the different segments of my pumpkin. And I blow dried that too. So this is what it's looking like with my white. It's crackled to the gods. Beautiful. So I'm using gold metallic paint for this part, and I'm just gonna shadow and dry brush my contrasting color into my white to give it a nice smooth look. You don't want a sharp bold look on this. You want it to look nice and polished when you're done. And this is what it looks like after dry brushing. Look how beautiful that is. So to transfer my lettering onto my pumpkin, I'm using this carbon paper. I'm gonna lay the black side down onto my pumpkin. I personally free-handed this lettering, but if you have a computer, you could print it out, trace over it to get that transfer onto my pumpkin. And this is much easier, guys, instead of using the chalking and all that other stuff I see on YouTube. This is a oldie but goodie way to do it. And also, I'm not sure where to get this paper. You could look online or whatever, but I had this for a while because I do a bit of sewing, so this comes in very handy for me when I sew. And this is what it's looking like, all transferred onto your pumpkin, and all you have to do is outline it with a Sharpie, or you could paint it. For me, I'm gonna paint it black. And along the way, guys, you want to make sure each step you do is fully dried, because you don't want to make a mess with wet paint, okay? So now that all my letter is painted, I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna use some extra fine black glitter that I picked up at Walmart along with some Mod Podge to also apply that to my lettering, just to give it a little pop. So you want to apply your Mod Podge first, and you want to put a generous amount so that you know it will sit, not too much, not too thin, just enough to make sure your glitter stays onto it. Then apply your glitter, and you want to use a piece of paper to catch that extra glitter. You don't want to waste it. You could always use that for another project. And this is what it's looking like after you do that. Nice and glittery. And you want to dry that thoroughly. So after you get it dry, you want to use a dry brush and brush away all that extra glitter that have been sitting on the outside of your lettering. So now you want to add your last coat of Mod Podge to keep all your glitter in place. So just in case you guys are wondering, this video was recorded between 2 to 3 days, so that would explain the different outfits you might be seeing in this video, and that's what that is. I also, on this part of my stem, I put some translucent glitter just to give it a little jazz. So now I'm just gonna add my ribbon that I'm gonna use to hang my wall art. So I got this ribbon from Dollar Tree. I've been using it for everything so far. And my gingham ribbon I picked up at Michael's. So I just placed my gingham ribbon onto my Dollar Tree ribbon. And I'm gonna use my liquid stitch to glue that down. So this is what it's looking like when you're done gluing your gingham on. And to make my bow, I'm just gonna place my ribbon in half and then half again and construct my bow. It might not be the traditional way, but this method works for me. And I'm gonna take this string that I picked up at Michael's, and I'm just gonna tie it around my middle area of my bow to keep it in place. Then I'm gonna wrap it around a few times just to finish it off and give it a nice polished look. And this is the finished look of my bow. Now these are my pumpkins. It says all this coziness, and this is the way I'm gonna assemble them. I'm just gonna use my glue gun to attach them together. I placed the two pumpkins on the end on top of my middle pumpkin, and I also placed those on an angle. It gives it a more design aesthetic to me. And this is what it's looking like. All this coziness. How beautiful. So to hang my pumpkin, I'm gonna use an extra piece of ribbon. I'm gonna place that in half to make sure it's even on both sides. And I'm just gonna use my hot glue to put that in place on the two pumpkins on the end. You could put it in the middle if you want. It depends on how balanced it's for you, but because it's 3 pumpkins, this is more balanced. So to add the bow you previously made, you want to prepare your ribbon that you just placed onto your pumpkin. I used hot glue and I folded my ribbon in half. What that does, it gives it stability to hold your bow onto. So I'm just gonna eyeball the center of my ribbon before I place my bow onto it, because I want it to be balanced. So just put your hot glue on and add your bow. And voila! This is what it's looking like, guys. It's so beautiful. Please like and share this video. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. I just think it's gorgeous. Gorgeous, darling. Please hit that notification bell and you'll be notified of every single time I put a new video.